everybody. Welcome to the 21st, well, not 21st century, but the 21st podcast of the Positively Disney phone-in show. I'm Kimberley Bouchard. I'm your host and the author of the Positively Disney books, where this show has been derived from. And I want to say hello also to my Twitch TV folks out there. Welcome and thank you for joining me. I wanted to let you know that I'm actually going to be podcasting 2 hours earlier from now on, starting next week. So I'm going to be starting at 4 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7 Eastern time, and then that would be 6 Central time. And I'll make a note of that as well and let everybody know. But just to remember that I'm going to be on 2 hours earlier. I hope you guys are having a good week so far. I was really glad that the sun came out in Seattle today. It actually feels like a summer day, which is a huge difference from the other morning when it was freezing cold rain. But I'm actually feeling a little sore today. So some of you know that I was in Scotland. I just got back wee hours of Tuesday morning last week. And something that I always do when I travel, I always bring my little suitcase scale with me. And unfortunately, you never know when your suitcase scale is going to die on you. And of course, we didn't have batteries on our way to the airport to weigh anything to get the scale working. So I jumped on the scale, which was like obviously not a good thing, but it was also a good thing because it also really kind of gave me a big kick to start my, get in shape season. This is my 6th day. I am very happy to say it. It's so hard, you guys. If you are out there trying to get in shape, lose weight, stay healthy, oh my gosh, it's really hard. And this is day 6, though. I'm happy to say that I did my 5K on the treadmill, the fat burner one that my husband suggested I do for to rev up the workout. No sugar, no cookies, no chips, no carbs, no potatoes, no nothing. So any of you that have gone through a tremendous weight loss, that is so amazing, and getting fit. So there's also kind of a reason why not only do I want to get into better shape, but I'm giving myself, I think it's like 10 weeks in a few days. I'm actually going to be going on an Alaska cruise, a Disney cruise. And I thought, why don't I try to have a little goal and be in better shape for that cruise? But anyways, I just wanted to say hi to Mike, who's joined us tonight. And of course, my hubby's online as well. Thank you for joining me this evening. So Scotland, folks, my goodness. This was my second trip overseas to Scotland, particularly with my sons. We were dancing at the World Irish Dance Championships. And I have to tell you that I have been very fortunate to meet all kinds of folks around the world. And I do follow another series on television, and found out that there are so many fans over there because they film the show over there. At any rate, I was invited on 2 different occasions by different people to tour around Glasgow, as well as tour the countryside. And honestly, I just fell in love with Scotland all over again. The rich history, just the raw beauty. That's the only way I can explain it. It was just so raw, and it was just so phenomenal. I just had the best time visiting these castles and the locations, the filming locations. Before I go on, I want to say hi to Daniel. Thanks for joining me tonight. It's actually wee hours of the morning for you, I know. Thank you. At any rate, my Scotland trip really inspired me to think further about a lovely, amazing Disney animation, Brave. I actually watched Brave this last couple of days because I just thought I've got to go back and revisit that movie. It came out in I think it came out in 2012 it came out. You know, I didn't realize that movie Brave won a BAFTA, which is the British awards for film and television. It was a Golden Globe award-winning movie, and it got an Oscar. And when I went back and watched the movie, it was unbelievable. I have to tell you, you guys watch it again if you have a chance, because it's really, besides being hilarious, loved Merida and her little brothers. It really had a good message. And actually, when Pixar went over there, they went over in 2006, 2007, and scouted around locations, visited the Highlands in Scotland, even tried haggis. By the way, I filmed my sons trying haggis for the first time. Many of you that don't know what haggis is, it's sheep lining, as well as maybe heart and liver and stuff like that, all spiced up to taste actually pretty good. And one of my sons is right beside me. How did you like it? Because I wasn't brave enough to try any of it, but was it all right?
It was all right.
It was all right.
A little heavy on spices, but you could get through.
They only had one bite, and that was enough. And I just thought that was really good on them to actually do that. Anyways, the Pixar folks were all over scouting locations, and one of the so the castle, and the kingdom of Dunbach, that Merida's family is from and has the castle and all that in Brave, is actually fashioned from a castle in Scotland in the Highlands, and it's Eilean Dunnan, and I don't even know if I said that right, but I'm going to go visit it this summer. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But Dunbach actually just means brown fort or something like that. It's kind of a bit of a generic name for it. But it was just really neat to go on the map of Scotland and take a look at the different places that they were inspired to bring into the movie of Brave. And honestly, I think that sometimes these animations do inspire people to maybe visit or learn about the culture. And something that I learned a little bit is that in the history and the lore and all that in these different countries, there's such tradition. And in the movie, you can see certain traditions that they wanted to find a suitor for Merida. But something that I was also surprised about is that Merida was actually the very first Pixar princess, and actually Disney's 11th princess. And I think just well deserved. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Some of the areas that they had gleaned ideas from around that castle, of course, the stones where things happen and change. I don't want to be a spoiler and all that, but there's stones that is actually taken from the Callanish standing stones it's called the Isle of Lewis, which is up in the Scottish Highlands, somewhat just to the west of Inverness and Loch Ness. And I'm very excited about the possibility of heading over there. I have to go to Dublin the end of July for my sons are doing a river dance camp audition in Dublin, and I'm going to hop over and see a couple of my new friends over in Scotland. And one had invited me to a cabin that they have, friends that have in Inverness. And so very excited. And the people of Scotland were absolutely lovely. We had the day that we were out touring outside, it actually was Easter Sunday, and it was like the nicest and the sunniest day. So it was lovely. Another thing I wanted to tell you about is in the movie, there are these blue wisps, and it's called will-o'-the-wisps in the movie, because they kind of coerce Merida and others to go certain places. And I found out that the bog in the bog-ish area, which is kind of like swampy, muddy kind of area, releases gases, and often they are that color, blue, which I think would be so cool to see. And if I happen to be somewhat near a bog in a safe distance and see these blue gases, like kind of like the blue flame on your furnace. I'm going to video it because I think it would be just fantastic to see that. And it's like, I just thought it was kind of one of those things in the movie, but it's actually taken from like real life things that happen. And another thing that the crew had done besides try and hug us and visiting the different places is they went to the Museum of Scotland and checked out some of the different things if that would be shown to have happened or have in the Scottish in the country of Scotland. And I was actually there on the weekend of Easter weekend as well, so it was kind of neat that I didn't realize I was kind of a little bit in the footsteps of some of the Pixar scouts when I was over there. So it was just absolutely fantastic. I did find out also, I've never been on one, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to go on one or kind of afford to go on one, but the Adventures by Disney actually have, I think they have like 30 different adventures all over the world in some fantastic places. And you don't even, everything is taken care of for you. You don't have to worry about anything. And they actually have a specific adventure. It's called Scotland, a Brave Adventure. And it's all the different areas that were inspired in the movie. So you would see the castles and the different areas in the Highlands and Loch Ness and things like that. So I thought it would be really cool. I did inquire about that today because I thought I found out about this Adventures by Disney in Scotland for the movie, and I thought I'm going to just inquire about the price. So I don't know if you guys are sitting down, but I'm glad I'm sitting down. And she just gave me an example of like July 19th for a week. So it includes everything, but doesn't include your meals, things of that nature. But it was the price of $6,999 a person. I thought, holy cow, it's a lot of money for a week. And for that's for anybody 12 and over, and anybody under 12 was like $6,649. So it's kind of crazy business, but maybe one day somebody watching this might check it out or even be have the good fortune of going on to an Adventure by Disney. At any rate, if any of you want to call in, the number to call is 844-483 4763. If you want to share something Disney with me, that would be lovely. Something that I was also thinking about is besides my suitcase standing on the scale bit and getting in shape. I don't know if you guys know about this, but they have Run Disney, which are different running events that take part in the parks. They also have them taking part out of the parks, and they're called virtual shorts. And I found out about that last year, and I did the 3 virtual shorts. So what it in means is that you can do a 5K in the month of June, 5K in the month of July, 5K in the month of August. Or you can just do one of them. You can do the series, you can do one. I chose to do the series. That was last year. And you're on the honor system, and you register. You're registered, of course, for this. And you get a medal when you complete your 5K, and it's at your leisure. You can do whenever you want, as long as you do one in each month. And when I got started on that, it was actually kind of fun, kind of pushing myself a little bit to see how my personal best or whatever. And I made it, I actually did several 5Ks, managed to do several 5Ks each month. Well, there's more virtual shorts coming. It's actually in, I guess, in celebration of the movie Incredibles 2 that's coming out June 15th, which I'm really excited about. And it's just on the Monday after that, I actually head out on the Disney Wonder for the trip. And I plan on watching that movie on the ship because on the cruises they actually have the movies that are out in the theaters. They have them showing in the theaters on the ship. So, anyways, I want to sign up for the virtual shorts, and you get these really cute medals. You can check it out online in the Run Disney Short program, and you can, as I said, you can do just June or just July, August. You can stroll, you can walk fast, you can jog, whatever it takes to do for 5K, and they get this really cool medal. And I'd like to do all four because I like those medals. They're kind of fun. But at any rate, I wanted to just get back to something that also happened in Scotland. So Mike, who's on here with me, is actually in one of the books, and had the it was great that I actually met him. I think it was last summer, I think is when I met you, Mike. But one of the things that I want to do, and I'm hoping to do it, it'll take me a long time to do it, but I want to be able to meet all the contributors that have contributed a story in the book. And some of you guys are in the UK, or in Scotland, or in the Philippines, and and all over North America. So unless we are in the park at the same time, or I happen to be in the vicinity that you are, it's going to be a while to be able to meet you. But at any rate, I had a really lovely meetup. It was actually Easter Sunday night with one of the people that I had interviewed. Her name is Abigail Forrest, and her story is about Tsum Tsums and her husband, who had become very ill, and to pass her time and taking care of him and all that, started creating her own Tsum Tsums. And I'm going to give you a wee bit of a backstory here. So she lives in a little village outside of Glasgow, and I contacted her and told her I was going to be out touring, right, with these some folks and outskirts of Glasgow. And you wouldn't believe it, but the person that my sons and I were meeting up, that was going to tour us around, was actually from the same village in Scotland. I was like, how does that happen? At any rate, Abigail was actually at her folks' place for Easter dinner and that. And when we finished our touring and that, we actually went to her family home, which was absolutely lovely. They were just lovely, lovely people. And I could understand them, because sometimes I couldn't understand the Scottish brogue, which is awful when you're trying, somebody's speaking English to you and you can't really understand them. But anyways, she gave me a really cute gift, and I'm going to try to hold it up. And it's a little Donald Duck Tsum dressed in the plaid. And he's got a special little hat they call a See You Jimmy. And I just absolutely loved it. And and she made this like from scratch. If she does custom Tsums. So if you go to, I think just Google Abigail Forrest, and that's 2 R's in that, customs, you will find her. And she was just adorable. And I want to tell you, there's a little story about this little tartan hat. It's actually it's called hope you can see it. It's called a tam o'shanter. So the cap itself, that's the tartan thing. But what makes it a See You Jimmy is they add a little fluff of ginger hair on there. And it's really fun. You can buy one as a souvenir. And because it was our last night there, I didn't even, I couldn't even go out. But next time in Scotland, I think I'm going to buy one just for fun. At any rate, See You Jimmy, I thought, what does that mean? So See You Jimmy, basically, James is a very popular name in Scotland. And so the nickname for James is Jimmy. And see you is kind of an expression that they would use to start a really warm and friendly conversation. So see you, Jimmy, is just kind of a way of them starting to chat with you, buddies or whatever, passing by. And I thought it was really neat. And something that I was really surprised about is all the different expressions that they had. And some of them I actually used. Don't ask me now which ones they were because I can't really remember. But I was kind of surprised that some of the expressions that I've used in my life back in Canada, and maybe just me being weird in some of the expressions I use, I don't know, but they were using them over there. So it was quite interesting to hear some of their expressions, and it was really just fun to get to know a few of the locals and hear a little bit about their country. And they're very proud people, as we all are, of our countries. And when I had made first contact with some of these folks over there before I met up with them, they just wanted me to come away with a real warm experience from Scotland. And I'll tell you, it absolutely, like, I miss those friends dearly, and it's really so cool. I feel so privileged to meet good people in this world. Anyways, again, the number to call if you want to call in, 844-483-4763. This past Thursday, I didn't really see any other throwback Thursday photos, and I don't know, maybe people aren't even doing that anymore, but I thought I am going to put up a photo. It was back in 2009 when we had taken our very first Disney cruise and landed on that beautiful island called Castaway Cay, which is Disney's island. And I tell you, I would be over the moon if they actually had a ship stay there for a week. I don't know if they'd do that, but maybe 2 or 3 nights in a row. I know there's more ships coming out and being built in that, but anybody that has gone to Castaway Cay would attest that that is probably their favorite port of call, because it's just absolutely the best place. You're safe. They've got all the barbecue set out for you. They've got games. They've got snorkeling. They've got the Stingray experience, which did you guys do the Stingray experience yet? I can't remember. Oh, I know. We were signed up for the Stingray experience this one time, and it was too cold. It was too cold to even go in the water. So we had to cancel it. We never actually thought about doing that. And it's just kind of, I think, petting them, feeding them maybe. But at any rate, the snorkeling, I'm a bit of a chicken, and my kids, of course, went snorkeling. They're certified snorkelers with my husband. And I really wish I wasn't afraid, because snorkeling at Castaway Cay, there's, you see Mickey under the water, and I think you see a ship, and they have all these different things that you can actually see, which is right in the ocean there. And it's kind of portioned off a little bit from the kind of the rest of the world are there, and that, but it's really, really a lovely place. I highly recommend it. You guys just try to get there. But anyways, back to the photo. Captain Jack Sparrow kind of have a little thing for Captain Jack, and he's always on the island first thing in the morning, and I think a little bit throughout the day, but I think he would absolutely melt in his getup if he was standing out there for too long. When we had first gone there on that first Disney cruise, he actually was there at the, right at the beginning. We were walking to the beach. We didn't take the tram. And right in the background was the Flying Dutchman that they used in the movies, which was really, really cool. And, just really thought it was really neat. When we'd gone back different times, it had been there, I think, one other time, but then it disappeared. And I knew they were filming in that. So I thought, well, maybe they're just using it for filming purposes or whatever, to be back. And I was kind of curious to know where the Flying Dutchman ended up. So I put this photo of myself with Captain Jack, with the Flying Dutchman in the back, and put it out there for people and said, asked, did anybody know where the Flying Dutchman went to? And I couldn't believe all the responses that I got, and the variations of responses I got. And I almost kind of didn't know what to believe. And some of the responses were that it was actually behind Epcot somewhere. storage. I don't know. I was told it was destroyed by the hurricane and there was floating pieces and people were climbing on it and that. I was told that it's on storage in Disney property. I was also told that it was still on Castaway Key. And if you stop at the first tram stop to the beach, that if you look over on the right, you would see a mast, which is part of its mast. I've also heard that it's at another island with the Black Pearl. So I had no idea what to think, what to believe. So I decided to phone Disney Cruise Line. And the fellow that I was talking to went and checked with somebody else. Now, I'm not 110% sure, but I think the mystery is going to continue here because all he said was that it was moved. He believes a tugboat moved it. It's not a big ship, but it still has to be moved by tugboat, and that it isn't destroyed, so that's good. But he had no idea where it was at, and he probably wouldn't be able to tell me either if he knew. But I had told him that somebody had said that was you could take a boat to another island and you would find it there. So I still have no idea where the Flying Dutchman is. I think it's kind of fun to ask the questions and see what kind of answers people can come up with. I think it would be really fun if they could bring it back, but I understand that people are probably going out there with their watercraft or whatever and checking it out, which is quite frankly what I would have done if I would have thought about that day, to just go and take a closer look. I think it would have been really cool. But they did remove it from the island, they said, for various reasons, which I'm sure all of those that I just mentioned were probably in consideration. So I think, though, that I believe that they were filming another Pirates, but in Australia, so they wouldn't have it there. But I think that for Pirates 5, are they going to come up with a fifth one? I think they will, because of what the little teaser was at the very end of the fourth movie. I think that'll be really neat to find out maybe where it is. And but I definitely enjoyed seeing it on that first time we were on the island, and of course Captain Jack. And because my family knows that I like Captain Jack, and I like Gaston, I like Donald Duck and Goofy now, and besides Mickey and Minnie, of course, those are standards. But they've got me a pin, a really fun pin, and it said, and I wore it on my bathing suit dress, and it said, "I love Captain Jack." And he noticed the pin and he said, "Well, I love me too." And I just love it when they are in character, they stay in character. And all those guys, they do such a wonderful job, make your day kind of a little extra special and fun. At any rate, we're just about coming up to the half hour, and it just giving you one last call out if you want to call in. Something that I wanted to share with you, and I don't, this is just kind of another movie, but it's the live action movie. So when we were flying over, of course, it's like 10 hours to London. And I watched Coco coming back because they finally had it on the plane, which I just love Coco. But they also, I kind of checked out the Disney stuff right away. And they had Cinderella, the live action. Now I have no idea where I was or what I was thinking, but Cinderella, the live action, came out in 2015. And it's great. It was really good. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen it or if you plan on watching it, but check it out. It's really good. And they just seem to be doing more live actions with these animations. And I mean, Jungle Book's another example of that. And I look forward, I got to get back to Brave, but I look forward to the live action of Brave. And we actually have a friend that I think would be perfect to play Merida, who she actually, believe it or not, our friend has this flaming red hair. She's training as an opera singer right now. She's the triple threat. She can sing, she can dance, and she can act. And she's very good with her Scottish brogue. She does practice different accents in that. So I don't know if she, if that will ever come to pass, but I just think it would be really fun to do that. And I'm not too sure who they would cast for the characters, but I really think that I look forward to all those movies coming out for sure. Anyways, I think I'm going to wrap up tonight's show. Thanks again for joining me, you guys. And just a reminder that next week on my 22nd podcast, we will be streaming live from 4 p.m. to 4:30-ish Pacific time. That's 7 to 7:30-ish Eastern time, which is let's back it up, 6 to 6:30 on Central Time. So for now, have a great week, you guys, and glad to be back. And I will check in with you next week. For now, take care and be safe. Bye for now.